From BQE Restaurant and Lounge in the heart of Atlanta's historic Martin Luther King District, it's Newsmakers Live, bringing you the issues, politics, and perspective of the Atlanta community. Now in its 10th season, here is tonight's moderator and your host, 8-time Emmy Award-winning broadcast journalist, Mr. Maynard Eaton.
Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Newsmakers Live. It's getting exciting. November 7th is approaching. We have a mayoral candidate, top mayoral candidate in the House. We also have with us two of the top contenders, if not the leading contenders, for the post-2 at-large city council seat. That's a major citywide seat. Corey Root to my right, an IT entrepreneur and a Republican. And to his right is Matt Westmoreland, former school board member. Gentlemen, why is this race important? What does it say about Atlanta?
Well, it's a citywide race. So the person that is elected to the seat is going to have to represent every single person in the city of Atlanta. Each resident in Atlanta is sort of blessed with three people that do that, plus a city council president and the mayor. And so everybody has their own district representative, but then they have these folks that can play across the line, that can bridge North and South Atlanta, and that can carry, be an additional voice of advocacy for them in City Hall.
So the pecking order is the mayor, city council president, and then post at large seats, right? Matt?
Yeah, so I think, first off, thank you for having us on, and congratulations on your 10th anniversary. I think this race is incredibly important because of the amount of change that we're about to see in Atlanta. We're about to elect a new mayor, we're going to elect a new city council president, and a majority of the city council is going to be new. And I think that presents a unique opportunity to really kind of take a step back as a city and think about how we're going to chart the course for the next 5 to 10 years around affordable housing, around economic mobility, around transportation. And so I think all of these races are going to be very important.
Just like Felicia Moore, who's running for city council president. And we have in our House those who want to be mayor. You guys will represent what promises to be a whole new political dynamism, a whole new age of politics in this city. Is that daunting or exciting?
I'm excited. So I'm from Atlanta. I was born and raised here. I'm a proud graduate of Atlanta Public Schools, a former teacher in Atlanta Public Schools. I love this city. I think that there's so much potential. There's so many things going well, and there's so many things that we can take onto the next level. And so I'm not daunted. I'm excited about the work ahead and the challenges in making this city stronger for everyone who calls it home.
And there is a lot of work ahead, is there not?
It's a ton of work. I think it's exciting, as Matt said. I mean, we're undergoing right now the largest urban development project ongoing anywhere in the world with the Beltline. And that's an exciting change. We just got $2.5 billion for transportation and infrastructure enhancements. You know, there's projects to connect communities with trails and bike lanes and light rail all over the city. 5, 10, 15 years from now, the city is going to look very different, and living in the city is going to mean something very different. So we're all excited about it. But I think it's important that we not forget that that there are tens of thousands of people in this city who live in the shadows of all that development.
The tale of two cities. That's what many people say, and that's where many people live. There are the haves and the have-nots. Will post-2 bridge that gap?
Well, I mean, the city of Atlanta has the largest income disparity anywhere in the country. And a child born in Atlanta in poverty is less likely to escape poverty than any other child in the country. And so I think that it's very important that we do bridge that divide. And we do that with early childhood education, and we do that with targeted, aggressive workforce development.
Matt, you saw it as a school board member, this tale of two cities. You saw the disparities. How can you help correct that as a council member, and why leave the board to be a council member?
Yeah, that's a great question. So even before I saw it as a school board member, I saw it as a teacher, right? So I'm a graduate of Atlanta Public Schools, but I went to Grady High School. And I got an incredible education at Grady High School. And when I came home after college and spent 4 years at Carver, I saw the two cities that exist in Atlanta.
So that's not just a nice phrase. That does exist.
No, sir, it's not. And the reason I ran for school board 4 years ago was because I thought people downtown at the central office weren't talking about my kids, weren't advocating for my kids. We had a 50% graduation rate in this city 4 years ago. Now it's 77% and climbing. And so the school system is making progress. I think the school system needs a better partner across the street. And so that's why I'm trying to go across the street, because our families need stable, affordable, quality housing. Our kids need a way to use mass transit to get to school and to get to jobs. Our school system needs a stronger partner on early childhood education and workforce development. And we need the right mayor and the right council to be that partner. And I think that's what I can bring to this seat.
Corey, you are a successful businessman. Why go into politics? You're making money, you're doing well, you're helping people.
Look, I've always been committed to service. I grew up poor.
Yeah, you are a rags to riches story, aren't you?
Yeah, so for me, my entire adult life has seen me invest a lot of my time and money and effort in helping to address poverty. When I was 19 years old, I ran a homeless shelter. When I was in my 20s, I worked with Regina Bell, the Grammy Award-winning artist, and her husband, Reverend John Battle, who used to be a point guard for the Atlanta Hawks. We fed the hungry, sometimes 2,500 people a week. I worked with Reverend Gerald Durley in the south side of town. We fed 100 people a day, 100 people a week with a week's supply of food. And so I've always been committed to that. This is an opportunity for me to do it in a more formal way and also to expand the reach of what I can do.
The elephant in the room is you're a white man, you're black. Race is a major part, a major factor in this town and this city. As Peter Amon said, it's the major factor in this town. How have you two been able to deal with that? Does that come up? Is that an issue?
So I think race is absolutely an issue and should be an issue in this city, right? This is the home, the birthplace of the civil rights movement. The city has been led by incredible black leaders for the last 40 or 50 years. And so from my perspective, I'm a white, affluent man who grew up on the north side of Atlanta. That is the privilege that was afforded to me that I didn't have anything to do with. And I think it's important to recognize that. And I think it's important to recognize that things come to folks who look like me because of my race or because of my gender that don't come to the kids I taught at Carver, and that don't come to the 77% of students in Atlanta public schools. And I think people who look like me and who have been afforded those privileges need to say that, and then need to use our voices to ensure that we're building a more equitable city. And that's what I've tried to do on the school board, and that's what I'll try to do on council.
Will that help you or hurt you on election day, what you just said?
Which part?
The transparency, the being an affluent white gentleman.
It is who I am. And I think it's important that people can sense whether you're authentic or not, and whether you're telling the truth or not. And I think it's important to lay out exactly what exists, and then to say, this is who I am, and what I did after college was come home to teach, and then I ran for the school board because I wanted to make sure that every kid in the city of Atlanta was getting the quality education that I received in Atlanta public schools. And the next phase of that work that I'm trying to do is by building a stronger city, a safer city, a more affordable city, and I think that work is done at City Hall.
Corey, has being a successful black entrepreneur helped, and has being a successful black Republican hurt?
I want to go back to something that Matt said that I think is very important. He said that he's a white, affluent male, and that he was that by nothing that he did. He was born into that. And, a lot of times Americans have accepted that fact, but they don't accept the fact that people are born quite differently than that. That there are people who are born in poverty and people who are born in circumstances of no doing of their own. They came out of the womb into these circumstances. And so having that type of sincerity and that type of understanding where you can address where they are and not see some type of character flaw because they're poor or because they are a victim of their circumstances is so important.
If Caesar Mitchell was watching this, wins the mayorship, will he be able to get along with you politically because you have different political ideas?
Look, my focus is on making sure that we lead the implementation of tuition-free full-day, high-quality early childhood education. By doing that for every child that's at or below the poverty line between the ages of 2 and 4 in this city, we will reduce poverty, we will reduce crime, we will reduce high school dropouts, we will reduce those the number of people who are doing drugs or selling drugs. And so that's where my focus is. My focus is also on making sure that we can reform the courts so that people are treated with dignity in the one place in a democracy where they should go, where the system should be on their side. And so I think where we align is we align in making sure that we're taking care of the least of those who are among us. I don't think that that's at question in this race.
If Caesar Mitchell wins the mayorship as a privileged white gentleman, will you be able to get along with him politically?
Yes. No, Caesar's a good guy. I've spent the last several years building a relationship with him and working to build a relationship with everyone who's on council and honestly folks who are running for mayor. I think that relationship building, it has been my experience on the school board that you need to have deep relationships and trust among those who you work with in elected office, and I look forward to building those relationships.
Finally, very quickly from both of you, because we have to go, we've heard this race is tightening up for the mayor, for your race, and you two seem to get along pretty well. We have a new city developing before our very eyes. There's this corruption stuff, there's this racial divide, does this play into your race as well, or is this up above us in the city council, in the mayor's race? Does the mayor's race contentions impact you guys?
No, sir. I'm running my race and sharing my vision for the city, and I do like Corey. And I've enjoyed getting to know him over the last several months, and just want to stay focused on the people of the city and not whatever politics may be taking place in other races.
Finally, Corey.
Likewise, I think that, making sure that you elect people who have the right motivations is so important when you're talking about ethics and corruption. I'm running because I grew up poor. I went to bed far too many nights without eating, and I've dedicated my life to making sure we address poverty. And so that is what I'm running. That's my legacy cause. Like you said, I'm a successful businessman, and I don't need to look for advancement in that way. So I think the focus is on those who are on the other side of the tracks. As Maynard Jackson said, those who are closer to the final exit before you leave Atlanta. And as long as that's our focus, we'll be a better city.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been fun to have you on Newsmakers, man. Good luck to both of you.